Shoo. Welcome to NBA 2023 to 2024 season, episode 4. We missing some people. We missing Rodney, our boy Daryl.
Hey,
But
what's
we're
up,
gonna do this show.
hello?
Yeah, fuck Zeno. We're gonna act
Oh,
like he's not here.
oh
But
wow.
we got we got a special guest. We got my guy. This is my guest. Because Zeno always brings his guest. This is my guest. OG,
Mhm.
undisputed
Uh,
champ. Man. What's going
unlike
on?
unlike unlike you, I have motion. That's the difference.
Man, this is
Okay.
gonna be fun.
Motion is crazy. Motion is crazy. OG, how you doing, man?
I'm
True
doing
the
good,
king.
man. Enjoying football tonight and
Yeah.
keeping up with all these sports that's going on. Survivor Series. I've been keeping up with it all.
What'd you think about the Survivor Series last night?
Oh, that was beautiful right there.
Yeah.
That was real beautiful. I like the way they ripped off the way that the WWE is ripping off the old WCW is crazy now.
Yeah.
Because you know that special guest appearance that Randy Orton did, that was basically ripped off from War Games 1996 when Sting was the special guest. So
Yeah.
that was basically ripped off from that one. So if
And
you
I
go
just
back and look at the War Games, it was WCW versus NWO. Sting was supposed to be on the NWO side. They had a fake Sting,
Yo.
but the real Sting ended up being on WCW side. That's where they ripped that off from. That's how come they had to add the mystery to him not being there.
Shoot, how'd you feel about that CM Punk interest though?
That was awesome. That was real awesome. We're gonna see a lot of storylines. I already know we're gonna see Randy Orton. I can't wait to see Randy Orton turn heel again because I just cannot imagine him being a face. And I can't wait to see the storylines that they put CM Punk in the next couple months within the next year if he doesn't become a locker room cancer.
I don't. To be honest with you, I feel like the energy that's going around in the locker room with Triple H at the helm. I don't think CM Punk should have much of a because the problem that CM Punk has is in these areas he's going is against people that are just like unreasonably like rebellious, right? Mm-hmm. So like in AEW, they were rebellious to CM Punk just because they didn't like him, even though what he was saying was actually true. You don't want to hurt somebody, so why body slam them on real glass? Right? And then in WWE, Vince McMahon, like I think it's well documented, he was making questionable decisions after questionable decision. So like I feel like CM Punk's like anger towards people was valid, but I think in this situation, Triple H has everybody in the position they're supposed to be. Nobody is being put on a pedestal, and nobody is being like undervalued. Like everybody is like having enough screen time for them to have the opportunity to get the fans behind them. And that's really all that you can ask for. I don't see a reason why CM Punk will have a trouble. But we're going to real quick before I ask these questions and stuff like that, we're going to give a huge shout out. True the King. Yo, what's going on, man? Much love. Salute. We're going to give a quick shout out to our boy Sports PSP, common family, me, Undisputed. You know, it's well documented the relationship we got with PSP. You know, shout out to you for always showing up and talking in the chat.
Show up and showing
out. Go James, salute, bro. You already know what it is. FYL Sports, much love, much love. Sports PSP says champ. And then he says
Sports PSP.
Yeah, he said champ, and then he said CM Punk. He already know what it is. That's a big ass. That's a big ass pickup. That's a tremendous pickup. Go James said, "Dan, that's crazy, dude. Remember that, man? Y'all finna find out for this show. OG has some really good memory on like history and sports, entertainment, all of that. And we're gonna get to some of these questions on how he knows that." Was he there? The King says CM Punk is a cancer low key. I think if you put him in certain situations, I mean, you know, if you put a wounded bear in any situation, like what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? Like when in CM Punk's case, OG, like we're gonna keep it a stack. Was any of the situations he was in a good position for him to be in? Like when he was in WWE, do you think that Vince McMahon was treating him fairly, him being the WWE champion for as long as he was, and yet you still would have the main event be The Rock versus John Cena, or no, it wasn't even The Rock versus John Cena. It was John Cena versus The Miz over CM Punk versus The Undertaker?
To be honest with you, I have to say this. Vince McMahon has always been one of these guys that is all about the views. And he's going to do what necessarily he thinks is going to draw the viewers. I mean, if you go back to, let's say, a lot of main events that you thought that should have happened, they didn't happen. Hell, Yokozuna and excuse me, my bad. Let me rewind that. I'm speaking faster than my brain can process. If you really go back, a match that we should have saw in the WWE was Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan. We never saw it. If you go back and look at it, we should have saw Bret Hart versus Hulk Hogan. We never saw it. So although Vince is the king of sports entertainment, he always dropped the ball on certain matches. And
okay. I don't want to put all of that on Vince McMahon because some of that deserves to be on Hulk Hogan. If you over here trying to basically steal the shine of all of these young talents and you don't want to let them go over because of your status, if I'm Steve Austin, if I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, you damn right I'm not letting you go over.
To be honest with you, I'm just going to be real. Hogan did not have the only place that Hogan had creative control in was in WCW. He didn't have that creative control in WWE. All of that's ran by Vince. I mean, Vince runs the catering in WWE.
So when it was documented about how Shawn Michaels originally was supposed to go over against Hulk Hogan, but then last minute Hulk Hogan said, "Nah, I think I want to go over."
All of that has to be a call from Vince. Hulk Hogan had no say.
No. Yeah, he got to get a call, but Hulk Hogan is the one that's like he's pushing the button. He's pushing. He's like Hulk Hogan is pushing that button.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it has to be red lighted by Vince. And Shawn Michaels losing to Hulk Hogan, that's not going to hurt Shawn Michaels at a certain point in time. Yeah. And if you really want to be honest, even if it would have been done right, Shawn Michaels would have had to carry Hulk Hogan at that point in his career.
Yeah.
It really wasn't a good match.
Yeah. Yeah, it really wasn't, especially with the way he was selling.
If people, you know what they say about those oversells, right? That was a revenge call because it was really supposed to be a series.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be a series of matches.
I think it was supposed to be like a trilogy, wasn't it? It's supposed to be a trilogy.
Yeah, like a trilogy. Yeah, it was supposed to be just like, and with Shawn Michaels, it all starts with SummerSlam and ends round at Backlash. Yeah, see, that's how nearly all of Shawn Michaels' feuds begin and end. SummerSlam, Backlash.
Sports PSP said, "Casual, I didn't know you were a WWE fan." Hell yeah, I'm a WWE fan. Shit, some of these times, man, I be trying to wrap up these streams so I can get back to watching some of my podcasts. Shout out to Real Takes Over Fake Debates. He has he does live streams every now and again where he's sitting and he reviews the pay-per-views that have been done like the day prior. So I'm a big fan of WWE. I've been a WWE fan since John Cena and Shawn Michaels 2007 matchup at WrestleMania 23. Nice. After I watched that, I knew not like I was like this huge fan, but like I always keep up with WWE for the most part. So yeah. We for sure got to do more WWE convos and stuff like that. Whenever y'all need me to, shoot, I come up all the time, and you know what I always say, OG. What I be saying?
Hey,
whatever OG say.
Hey, up until football, I got you.
Nah, for real. Whatever OG say, I agree. Up until
football, I got you.
W Glaze.
Go James says Triple H should just be over NXT. Nah, I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like he's doing the best job overseeing all of that. I think Shawn Michaels is doing just fine running NXT. I think the having former WWE members run the show because they know what they liked and what they didn't like when they were the workers. I think that's a beautiful like what is it? Circle that's being made. Like going from the workers working under Vince to now the workers being in Vince's shoes. I think
and
that's
not only that,
last thing.
those guys are the last remnants of the wrestling territories.
Yeah.
So those are the last remnants of the wrestling territories. Hey, people don't even realize this. Shawn Michaels wasn't originally a WWE act. He was originally from the AWA. So he was originally from the AWA. So I mean, those guys, and he was down in Dallas as well at the Sportatorium. So those guys know the business in and out. They don't it's not just WWE business they're doing. They know the business in and out, from how to draw from a territorial standpoint all the way up to the WWE and big shows. So, I mean, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, those are just the guys that know. They've been a fan of the business since they not only but been wrestlers in the business since WCW and the AWA old school days of the territory. They've been fans of it. So, I mean, the best way to get the perspective is to work as a worker and a fan. So,
yeah. As you can see, he know his shit. Sports PSP says Austin, my favorite WWE dude. Damn shame that neck injury back in '97. To be honest with you, I'm not even mad at the neck. Like, yeah, of course you never wish injury on anybody, but that neck injury, if we want to keep it a stack, it was the best thing that. No, it was the best thing that happened to Steve, because think of how much better he became in ring, because he had to diversify his move sets, right? Like beforehand, like the his athleticism and stuff like that, like he was putting it on display. Like you were seeing him go to the top rope and stuff like that far more often than you saw 97 or onwards. Steve Austin had, even after that, he had a 97 to 2003. He had a 6-year prime. He fucking W Steve Austin. But all right, we're gonna get into some of these topics. All right, so we're gonna first off, I want to ask you, because if you guys don't know, Mr. Undisputed Champ, he got his kickstart off of TikTok originally.
Right.
So what I want to ask is, what exactly motivated you first to start this? And did you see you blowing up on TikTok as much as you did?
Honestly, I didn't, to be honest with you. And honestly, I'll have to be honest with you. I was very, very steadfast about doing it. Really, to be honest with you, it was all, I mostly did, I'm showing my age, I mostly did barbershop talk shows. It was just like a whole bunch of the guys would get together and, guys trying to place a bet or something. And he's like, hey, Champ, because that's my name in real life, Champ. It's not just my screen name. They'll ask, hey, Champ, man, what do you think about this right here? I said, well, place the bet on this guy. Make sure you look at the injury report. And actually, you may not believe this, it was my father's idea. It was my father's idea. He was like, hey, why don't you go on TikTok and show him what you do? I was like, I'm not doing that.
What's your dad doing on TikTok?
I'm not going on TikTok. I'm like, I'm too old. At the time when I first got on TikTok, I'm 34 years old. Yeah. So it's like, just try it and just see what happens. And the very first video I did regarding sports was, who was the most overrated quarterback in the history of the NFL, in your humble opinion? And I said Troy Aikman. And I got a lot of pushback on that, and a lot of people said, hey, you was right, because he was a merchant of the Great Wall of Dallas and Emmitt Smith. Yeah. If you really, really want to look at it. But that's how I got started. My father got me started, and he was like, well, you should try it. And this wasn't an overnight process. He would literally be pushing it like every single day, because he was on the app during the pandemic. And I thought the apps was just pretty much for dancing, and stuff like that. And I was just really kind of looking at it like, I don't sing and I don't dance and I don't do any of that. And he was like, hey, why don't you just try it? And he worked on it for like a couple of months. So shout out to Pops. I'm the reason why.
Shout out OG Pops, man. Shout out OG Pops.
You're the reason why I'm here. So because if it wasn't for him, I sure as heck would have been on TikTok. Thank God for Pops, because I wouldn't have been here if it's not for him.
Nah, look, I feel that. I feel like talking to you on PSP show, like you have like a lot of like insight on like this. I've seen this before. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of what you talk about is like some of this stuff we're seeing now in like the NBA. Like we've seen it before. We've seen the Nuggets winning the championship. We've seen that before. You know what I'm saying? So like, where exactly did all of this like knowledge of like past past occurrences in NBA history and even NFL history come to you?
Well, number one, I was an athlete myself. I was a football
Really?
player. Yes, I was a football player. I played basketball. I was back then. I'm showing my age. I was the foul guy. I came in, set about eight screens, got my 6 fouls, and got out of the game. So basically, and my point guard was my best friend, by the way. And my job was to protect him, make sure, because he was only like 5'5". I'm 6'1", 280. I played nose guard in high school. So he was like, hey, man, I'm taking a beating out there. I said, well, I'll come out there and set a couple screens for you. Then I'm not going to do too much. So that was about it. So basically, like I said, goes back to my father. Me and him used to sit down because, like I said, when you're an athlete, you have to watch film. You have to go through the breakdown. You have to go through all of that. Yeah. And not only would we go through the current game, we would go shot by shot. We would go to what we used to call see what was back then and see what was now. And we did the same thing, and people would think it's a reach, but we did the same thing when Jokic came out, when he was telling me how he brought to my attention how Jokic looks a lot like Bill Walton did when he first went to the Boston Celtics, except a lot more powerful. And if you go back and look at side-by-side tape, you will see that how good of a passer that Bill Walton was versus how great of a passer that Jokic is right now. And it's that, imagine if he would have stayed healthy, because if you really look at Bill Walton's season during that time on the 86 Celtics, as well as his MVP season back in 1977, you'll see a lot of shades of Jokic at this point, except he wasn't as powerful or dynamic as he was. You know, it was back then. It was when dinosaurs roamed the earth and you didn't have a lot of medicine. So that's how we do it. We break down the film side by side. And if you really want to be honest with you, as far as athletes are concerned, there's nothing new up under the sun. If you really want to be honest about it, every generation has its own dynamic personality. If you really look at nowadays in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers is just the modern day version of Dan Marino. The same quick release, the same mobility in the pocket, same pocket presence, the same ability to make something out of nothing. It's all there. If you look at Josh Allen, he's the modern day version of Brett Favre. If you look at a lot of these things, if you look at film side by side, if you study the history of each and every sport, and even if you want to include hockey, there's really nothing new up under the sun. If you look at film of Michael Jordan and Dr. J shot side by side, you'll see that Michael Jordan patterned his early game after Dr. J. Matter of fact, there was a headline, will he be the next Dr. J? So the thing is, what we have to do as content creators and journalists, because that's what we are. We're journalists, not just content creators. We're journalists.
I have a question.
We live in the news. Yes, sir.
My question to you is, when it comes to the Jordan thing, wasn't it that he modeled his game over David Thompson, not Dr. J?
No, from what I've seen, it was Dr. J. He even patterned the free throw dunk that he first did that he got famous for. That was a Dr. J. That was a Dr. J dunk.
No problem. I was just asking the question.
Oh, it's okay. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for, to ask questions. You know, I don't know everything.
No. The question I thought you were going to ask, is about the Bill Walton and Jokic comparison, because you brought that up before on Sports PSP this podcast, and I was at first I was astounded because I'm like how like I don't understand how that comparison comes about, Like with Jokic's passing and stuff, like Bill Walton was nowhere near that caliber of passer. But for that era, it wasn't too common that you had, a center that could be able to man your offense from like mainly a passing a passing level, from that aspect of the game. So the more I started to look at it, there's a couple seasons where Bill Walton is averaging upwards of like 5 assists a game, and that's unheard of for centers.
Back then, especially
around that time. So, but yeah. So, we're gonna go ahead and get into these topics. You guys ready?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I just wanted to clarify. At the end of the day, when a sport has been going on for so long, and there's not a huge radical shift in this how the sport is played or played, you tend to see modern versions of plays that we once saw. Like as you already said, the Jokic comparison to like Bill Walton, you would say. You would have stuff like Giannis having a mixture of like who's the power forward that was running with Hakeem? Someone tell me, I forgot his name. I'm bad with names. The what when he was really young.
Ralph Sampson.
Yes, so you have a lot of players nowadays that have certain stuff in their game that reminds you of other players, and that's just the way of sports or evolution in sports in general. So that makes sense. Ralph Sampson, that's what I meant, Sage. Yeah.
All right, guys. So real quick before we move on to talking about our topics for today, chat, man, we got 8 viewers today. All right, we got 8 viewers today.
Let's go.
I need 8 likes. I need 8 likes. Okay, can I get 8 likes? All of y'all, come on, man. I appreciate everybody coming out. Make sure to stay active in the chat, man. We wanna talk. Sage says Ralph Sampson. Zeno.
No, that was literally what we was talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Oh, okay. How about that? Okay. And then Go James says that's a good comparison. So W Go James, WOG. All right. So the first topic we're gonna be talking about the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets so far in the last 10 games, they're splitting 5-5. And it's honestly not too big of a problem until you start to notice a common theme. Without Jamal Murray for these 10 games, if Jokic is not playing at a I wouldn't even say an all NBA level. If he was playing like if he's not playing like the MVP of the league, they're not winning. Against the Rockets, 2 times so far these last 10 games, they faced them. And in both times, if Jokic is not playing at an MVP level, they have no chance. He did not play well so far. He did not play well against the Rockets last game, and they got smoked. And it was really bad because the efficiency got exposed. If Jokic's efficiency without Jamal Murray on the court truly carries their statistical dominance. If you notice when they play teams like Chicago, New Orleans, Golden State, a large reason of why they average about 51 from the field is due to Jokic's efficiency. But the games where they lose, their efficiency damn near plummets. They turn from a usual 53, 55 field goal efficiency, and even from the 3-point line, giving you about 40%, 40+% from the 3-point line, to all of a sudden turn into a barely 45% from the field and damn near like bargaining to get a 35% percenter from the 3-point line. So it looks really, really bad for them. And my question to you guys is, can the Denver Nuggets win a championship without Jamal Murray?
Firstly, one part I do want to add on is what Ice the Demon King said. That's a fire name, by the way. Sort of pun I did that. Anyways, he says Gordon was a no-show in that game too. Understandable. That's true. One thing I do want you to understand is, and he even put his own thing. He says no. I agree with that. At the end of the day, losing Jamal Murray means that they lose one of their most unstoppable part of their game, which is the Jokic and Murray two-man game, and specifically the inverted pick and roll that they do. When they're not able to go to that when it comes to close games, it is way harder for them to close games. Plus, as great as Jokic is, and we all know Jokic is probably still the best player in the league right now, when you do not have a shot creator as a big with you, that makes your life so much harder. Because Jokic, as great as he is, and every time he comes down the court, he's going to constantly hunt for that great and high quality shot for your team. But at the end of the day, when you need the game to get closer and he needs to consistently hit shots, that's when you need your guard or your wing to actually have the shot creation ability to end the game. But when you don't have that, you lose that ability to take you over the hump. And that's the issue. That's why I don't think they will win without Murray.
OJ, you got anything?
To be honest with you, that's right on the money. I think that it's only so much when Jamal Murray is out, it's all on Jokic. And I don't know how teams, you can't really stop him at a certain point, but you can kind of slow him down. And without Jamal Murray present, it takes away ability for the rest. And another thing that needs to happen when Jamal Murray is out, the rest of the team needs to rally around Jokic and create their own shots, because I don't think they have too many shot creators that's going to go out there and get you that's going to get you Jamal Murray numbers and just carry them for at least 5 to 10 games if he's going to be out. We've been seeing that the past 10 games. So I agree 100%. Without Jamal Murray, I don't think they can reach the NBA Finals again. If you look at what happened the year before, that was the whole reason they didn't make it to the NBA Finals before, was the absence of Jamal Murray.
Yeah. I'm looking at this team, and to be quite honest with you, the scary part about it all is Michael Porter Jr. is not playing bad. He's actually playing pretty well. And for the most part, Aaron Gordon is like defensively, he's doing his job. So my whole thing is they're doing, like, everybody for like the most part is playing just fine, and they're still losing to teams like the Rockets, the Pelicans, Cleveland, Orlando. These are the teams that they're losing to.
No, I want to cut you off right there. Do not talk about these teams that these teams are bad. These are good.
No. I'm not saying that they're bad.
The way you're saying it is coming off as like these are teams that they should just straight up beat. Cavs have been a good team this season. Orlando have been a really good team this season. Remember, on Friday we even spoke about them being a top 2 seed right now. These teams are really competent and well made, especially Orlando. Orlando right now they're a well-oiled machine on the defensive end. So I think we're thinking about a bit too much on what's going on right now, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be talking about the Denver Nuggets as a team without Murray, because Murray's not taking a season-ending injury. At the end of the day, it's just an injury that's going to happen. He might be out for a month, maybe 2 months. But at the end of the day, they're going to come back and he will still have that same cohesiveness that he has with the team. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be that much of an issue. I'm not saying that they're supposed. I'm not saying that it's just supposed to be like a foregone conclusion that they're going to beat them. But are they supposed to be getting beat by 19 to the Houston Rockets? 19? No.
Okay. Are they supposed to be getting beat by 12 plus against the Cleveland Cavaliers?
No,
without Donovan Mitchell, by the way.
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you've been watching the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell, their offense actually moves even much more smoothly, and the defensive issues actually isn't as bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really surprised that they lost to the Cavs by 12. I'm kind of surprised. I would say it's a little bit closer, like maybe.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not. That's
I'm
my
not
thing.
Really surprised.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if the Denver Nuggets are losing 5-point games or close to 10-point game, like because it pulled away towards the end, I understand that, because like this is an 82 game season, things like that happen. But I'm sitting back and I'm watching these games against Orlando, Houston, and against the Rockets. The Rockets in Orlando and Cleveland. And in those games, it really is like one of those things where usually, like, you remember how we were talking after they played the Lakers, and we were giving them credit for the fact that if you let the Denver Nuggets take the lead, it's very hard for you to get it back because the offense that they run is sort of like it's impossible for you to stop. So it's sort of like you're just playing catch up like the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Against these teams without Jamal Murray, it's flipped. It's flipped. Against Orlando, even though they lost by 5, it says they lost by 5, you never truly felt like they had a chance. They were keeping Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon off the boards. And in the case of guarding Jokic,
aren't they one of the best rebounding? Aren't they one of the best rebounding teams in the league? Orlando is.
I think so. I can check to make sure.
Because I'm pretty sure Paolo is a really good rebounder. France has always been a decent to good rebounder. And I know that Wendell is out. Let me see. Orlando Magic. I know and then you have like the guards are also decent rebounders, if I'm correct. I'm actually checking myself because I'm almost certain this team is really good with rebounding. Yeah, Paolo has 7, so he should get his rebounding out. But as a collective whole, I don't think they have a real issue with rebounding. So
I'm looking right now. I think they're 15th, like they're middle of the pack. But they're the best in the league. They're the best in the league at making sure that they don't give up defensive rebounds or offensive rebounds, if that makes sense. So they're 23rd when it comes to defensive rebounding, but they're 3rd when it comes to keeping the defense from getting those defensive rebounds.
Offensive rebounding.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. They're 2nd when it comes to keeping them from getting the offensive rebounds, and then on the other side, they're 9th in offensive rebounding. So they're good at, obviously
keeping the ball, not giving it up.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's not to say that they're supposed to beat those teams, because even in Houston's case, like the way that Houston is playing, the way Ime has all of those players buying in on the defensive end, no, I'm not surprised that they are 2-0 against the Denver Nuggets, especially those 2 games being without Jamal Murray. My concern is it's looking a little too convincing for the former NBA champions to be losing these games by a wide margin, or even if the final score is close, it never really was close. That's what
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah. Now we're gonna move on to the next topic. This topic is it's a sore spot, man. Curry, man.
Man.
Yeah. Golden State Warriors, man. Oh man.
No, hell no.
You gotta pack them boys up, bro.
Let's talk about no. We're talking about your team.
No. We'll save them.
We'll talk about the Milwaukee Bucks.
We'll save them for later. Right. We got Golden State. We'll save them for after this. Golden State, in Golden State's case, they're they're really just a mid team. This team is like the definition of mid. Let's talk about the positive. The positives is obviously Stephen Curry, being a 29.7 scorer, once again showing his prolific ability to carry an offense truly with his off-ball skills, his elite shooting, shot creation. And even with him taking a step back on the ball handling duties, because he has a player in Chris Paul now, who I want to say this is This is Chris Paul's 18th season. He's still looking like a a very dependable playmaker, giving you 7.7 assists. Shout out to that man, Chris Paul. Shout out to Chris Paul's 3-point percentage. Chris Paul.
I'm not gonna lie to you. As much as I want to hate on him, he's actually came a long way. At one point, he was shooting 6% from 3. Right now, he's shooting 32.3 on attempts.
But the thing about Chris Paul, that I want to give him kudos for, is getting traded to this Warriors team, getting traded to the Wizards, and then end up coming to the Warriors. This is supposed to be his last stop, right? And here he is showing his value on the defensive end because he's been good defensively. And on the offensive end, sure, he's nowhere near the efficient scorer that he once was, but on the playmaking end, he's giving you 7.7 assists.
Draymond Green, yes.
Yeah, he's basically he's a mid point guard, 6 foot Draymond Green. That's what he is. He's giving you 7.7 assists and only 1 turnover a game. Tell me what backup point guard is showing that type of value for you. I'll wait. So shout out to Chris Paul and hold on. What's that thing called? What's that dude name? What's that dude name? Zeno. Mr. Wise. Mr. Wise. Klay Thompson. Yeah. That man's washed. I just want y'all to know that, guys. I just want y'all to know that Klay Thompson is washed. Coming into this season, he made it seem like this was do or die season for him. He needs to, have arguably his best season so that he can get the contract that he feels he truly deserves. And what has he done this season? He's coming in, giving you 15 points, unreliable 15 points, by the way, playing even worse defense I'd argue he's ever played in his NBA career. And he's shooting even worse than he did last season, giving you 40, 36, 87 splits, and he's giving you little to no playmaking. Yet he refuses not to stop playmaking. Zeno, isn't this amazing? Like, have you ever seen somebody refuse to not playmake? Like this nigga wants to take players off the dribble and try to create. And
you mean shot create? You mean shot create? Yeah.
No, he's trying to playmake. Did you see him against San Antonio?
I didn't actually know.
I mean, bro, when you think about Klay, has that? I mean, I might be wrong, and I might have been looking at the wrong tape a little bit. I don't think playmaking is really his game, to be honest with you.
It's never been his game.
It's never been his game.
Never.
Like I said, I might be wrong because I've been paying attention to the NFL a little bit more than the NBA this year, but that's never been his game. He was an off the ball type of guy. He didn't need the ball in order to get his own shot.
The funny thing is, ever since he came off of his ACL tear and his Achilles tear, he's been trying to create his own shot more, in my opinion. I don't know why exactly.
Everybody. I'm going to be very, very honest. This is why I hate contract years in the NBA, because the thing is, you're going to either be boom or you're going to be real bad bust. That's what contract years do. Because hey, when you're in the middle of a contract year, you can have a real good. A lot of guys are overrated doing contract seasons, and a lot of guys they try to do too much and end up hurting themselves in contract season. That's why I hate contract season. That's why you see a lot of guys trying to get those contracts before they hit that contract year. Because hey, you see what's happening right now with Klay and a lot of other players around the league who are in contract years. Hey, trying to do too much.
Shout out to Hassan Whiteside. Shout out to Karis LeVert.
Hey, Sage, shut up. All right. No, but I agree with you, OG. I feel like when it comes to contract years, you see players work so hard to be the best version of themselves for that 1 year, and it fools the NBA over and over again to where they end up getting these unreasonable contracts. And they end up returning back to what they were before. Like you said, Zeno, shout out Hassan Whiteside. And he ended up turning back to what he was before, lazy, not dependable, and really just being a tyrant, to be quite honest with you. It's just I'm looking at Klay, and I find it very hard pressed to find a reason why the Warriors would pay him. He's not what he was. Well, he's not what he once was. The value that he brought on the court is nowhere near as valuable as some of the other players that are going to get those contracts. What's my guy's name? Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. But there's plenty of other players in the same off season or in the same free agency this off season that are going to be searching for contracts that's on his level, and they deserve it. Whereas in his case, he's going to be, if he does get paid by the Warriors, it's basically going to be a legacy contract. It's going to be a legacy contract. And I fear if the Warriors, no, I don't fear. I know for a fact, if the Warriors sign Klay Thompson to this legacy contract that he's searching for, you're closing the casket on Stephen Curry's prime. You're essentially telling Stephen Curry, we'll go ahead and trade you because this is a wrap. This is a wrap over here. Over here, it's done.
They said thank you, fans. Thank you, fans.
No, for real.
To be honest with you, don't you? And like I said, I could be wrong. Don't you think it's time to move some new pieces within that team and trying to step away from the old guard? If you really look at it, that's what hurt the San Antonio Spurs on during LaMarcus Aldridge's run. I mean, Greg Popovich's dedication to the old guard. You have to move off some of these players in order to make sure that you make room. Yeah.
Nah, that wasn't him staying true to Tony Parker. Because DeJounte Murray tore his ACL.
He was when Tim Duncan was still there.
Oh, you talking about what Tim?
Yeah.
Shit. What young guard was gonna get over Tony Parker?
I'm talking about dedication to the old guard. I mean, in those big three. That's what we call the old guard.
Wait, so do you think Greg Popovich was prioritizing Tim Duncan over LaMarcus Aldridge in 2016?
Well, not necessarily him, but the thing was, it's just like you have to incorporate these newer players and give them a bigger role, I would say. Because I think they would have been although they won 67 games, I feel like they should have won a lot further in the playoffs in the first round.
Yeah, but that wasn't because of Greg Popovich prioritizing other players. He fed LaMarcus Aldridge the ball. LaMarcus Aldridge just stopped converting. And he actually became more passive. And even with Kawhi Leonard playing as well as he did, to be honest with you, I don't want to toot my own horn. That was just the OKC Thunder, just OKC thundering, man. Like the way that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are playing, I find it so unbelievable to believe that anybody outside of the Golden State Warriors would have beaten them. The way that Russell Westbrook was, I'll pull up the series so that I could be sure. But Russell Westbrook's pull-up conversion was taking him back 2 years to 2014 when he was was it 2014? I want to say it was 2014 or 2013 when he was knocking down the midi and it looked automatic. KD was still athletic and able to take even Kawhi Leonard, the best defender in the game at that time, off the dribble and being able to get to the rim just as easily. And not to mention, Andre Roberson was actually shooting efficient during that postseason.
Andre Roberson
was actually shooting efficient in that series. So I'm not actually surprised that they lost. But more than anything, the reason why the Spurs lost was because Greg Popovich was feeding LaMarcus Aldridge, and LaMarcus Aldridge just wasn't converting. He wasn't.
Okay. Is it fair to say that OKC, that version of back then of Durant and Westbrook, is that the best team never to win a championship?
In my eyes, yes.
Yeah.
In my eyes, yes. But shout out to Utah Jazz, John Stockton, Karl Malone.
I don't really.
Okay. Correction. John Stockton and number 32. Shout out to them.
John Stockton and the Kiddie Fiddler. Yes.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they had so many opportunities outside of those 2 years that they faced Jordan. And and I think too much gets lost in those 2 years because, to be honest with you, they had a big three at one point with Mark Eaton, Karl Malone, and John Stockton. Yeah. So I mean, you had plenty of opportunities even in the early 90s. And
I
then
would,
you had
but I would argue that the Thunder from 2012 onward, they had equal as better opportunity. Now, I will say 2014, 2013 and 2015, and 15, fair enough, because I think Russell Westbrook getting hurt in 2013, in my opinion, outside of San Antonio Spurs, there was nobody that could be able to beat that Oklahoma City team. The way that Westbrook's mid-range was looking, KD was looking still like the second best player in the world. There was, and not to mention, they still had. I think that was the year they had Kevin Martin as a six man. They had Serge Ibaka, Kendrick Perkins. I'm trying to think.
Fisher was still on that team too, wasn't it?
No, Derek Fisher retired.
Oh, okay.
Derek Fisher retired. That was Reggie Jackson's year. Reggie Jackson.
Yes.
It was Reggie Jackson. Yeah, they in my eyes, I feel like that team was going to go back to the NBA Finals if Westbrook doesn't get hurt by Patrick Beverley, which I still think was a dirty play, but we'll leave that alone. And then in 2015,
I thought that was a dirty play too. So I mean, in the great words of Michael Jackson, you're not alone.
Yeah. But no, again, shout out to John Stockton, Russell Westbrook, KD, and number 32, the Kitty Filler. All right, but when it comes going back to the Golden State Warriors, going back to the Golden State Warriors, I feel like I'm with you, OG. I feel like they need to make the call right now. Are we going all in on Curry's prime, what's left of it, and we're gonna try to build a team to win a championship? Because if we're gonna do that, get these kids out of here. Get Jonathan Kuminga up out of here. Let's get Moses Moody if we can up out of here. Let's get all of them. Let's get all of them out of here, and let's go for Zach LaVine. Let's put all our chips to the table, because the thing is, for the Warriors to win it, for the Warriors to have Stephen Curry playing at the level he's playing right now, if you don't go for a championship right now, think of how bad of a front office you're looked at now. Think of how bad of a front office you looked at now.
Well, you got to think about this. Bob Myers is gone out of that front office, if I'm corrected, and Jerry West is gone out of that office. So those are the two cornerstones that even kept that team together. Because if you remember correctly, they was about to break that team apart in the early 2010s and trade Harrison Barnes and Klay Thompson in order to get Kevin Love.
For Kevin Love.
And Bob Myers and Jerry West told them flat out, if you do that, I'm quitting. And the trade ended up getting squashed. But I want teams to be very, very careful with trying to bank on their old star player.
Yeah.
When they're in their so-called prime, because my team did that. Rest in peace to the Mamba. We kept trying to patchwork everything and ended up shooting ourselves in the foot for many years to come. So you got to be real careful doing that as well.
Oh, you're a Lakers
yo.
Okay.
Well, I mean, even in the Lakers situation, if we're gonna keep it a stat, y'all did what y'all was supposed to do. I think the only negative that I would say, y'all gave basically a legacy contract to Kobe after the ACL tear.
Yeah, after the ACL tear.
Which I'm sort of iffy on, because on one hand, I'm all on board with the thought process of you should never pay a player after they have that significant of an injury, if they're not going to be able to give you any value whatsoever. And at that point, I think it was well understood. Kobe, coming from the ACL injury, he was not going to give you much value, especially with the team that you put around him. You had no Dwight Howard because he left to go to Houston. Steve Nash retired. So you were basically
Robert Sacre.
You paired him with Xavier Henry and said, "Win me a championship."
And Robert Sacre, I'll never forget that. That was ugly. You're better off having me playing center, and that's not saying much.
Y'all picked up Jordan Hill and said, "Take me there." So that, like, I don't think I signed with the thought process of you never sign a player that's coming off of an injury that can't give you much value, on the winning end. But at the same time, all those years that Kobe stuck by, right, for you guys and persevered, I feel like if anybody should deserve a legacy contract, it would be him. So that's what my thought process is. I feel like y'all did everything you're supposed to do. And I think even in the
also
thought
got
process
shafted by David Stern too. So
that's true. That too. That Chris Paul trade, like that really stunned you. But in the case of your rebuild, think about it. Think about all of the draft picks that you got that have panned out now. Y'all, it's just the Lakers media made it seem like it needed to happen like that. Like they needed a Magic Johnson to come out and give you MVP production in their rookie year. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they were being ridiculous with the request that they were asking. In the case of the Warriors, Stephen Curry is showing you right now. They're barring, but knock on wood, barring him getting have a significant injury, Curry has about 2 more seasons where he can give you MVP level.
Bro really did knock on wood.
And I agree with that. But like I said, we have to be careful about trying to trade off draft picks and trading off your future.
Oh no, don't trade off draft picks. Don't trade off draft picks
in order to bring these players in, because at this point, what do you have other than Steph Curry that everybody wants?
I think Jonathan Kuminga still has tremendous value. I think Moses Moody has value. I think
will they give you a Zach LaVine?
I think Klay Thompson's expiring contract to a team like Chicago, who's looking to come off of contracts like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I think that they look enticing because you're not looking to resign him. If you're Chicago, you're going to let Klay walk. Who else?
But you're going to have to include at least 1 or 2 draft picks with those guys. That's not going to be a straight up trade.
I think, but the thing is, I think that there's a world where I think the Golden State Warriors can offer a first rounder, top 5, top 10 protected along with Klay Thompson, and Chicago would say, okay.
Yeah, because they're just basically trying to get off contracts at this point.
So if I give you an expiring contract and I add a top 10, top 5 protected pick of my own to you, I don't see why Chicago would say no.
That's fair.
I don't see why they say no. I don't see why they would say no.
I mean, but if I'm trying to get off contracts, and depending on what I'm trying to do, if I'm trying to build in the draft or either free agency, hey, if I'm trying to go for it all in the draft, considering who's coming out, and I got to brush up on my college basketball right now because, like I said, NFL, college football, that's in the thick of it right now. Yeah. Depending on who comes out this year, well, the center in Purdue, if I'm trying to go all in and trying to get him to come to Chicago and kind of get another Artis Gilmore on my hands, I mean, hey, I'm going to want draft picks in order to make sure I'm in the lottery this year. So you got to give that consideration.
Yeah, but I think Chicago already sort of handcuffed themselves because they gave up so many picks to get Vucevic and DeMar over. Right, so they already handcuffed themselves. So really, to tell you the truth, they'll take whatever the hell we give them. Right, so like if we tell you, once we make this trade and we get Zach LaVine, we already have a star he's gonna pair along with. We have a competent team. We're gonna make the playoffs, so you can already book it. We ain't going to the lottery, right? So now the biggest question is, do you want this 16 through 30 pick that we might have? And in Chicago's case, if they already just put themselves in a tough position, right, making those trades, they'll take that over not getting any type of value for that pick. Because I'm telling you right now, the other lottery teams that they could be able to go for, right? It's not like the other lottery teams that they'll go for. They're not going to give up their picks, and if they give up anybody else's picks, 9 out of 10, those picks are protected. Like I think. The Orlando Magic, let's say they went for a trade for Zach LaVine because they need some shot creation, they wouldn't give up their pick. I'll give you this Denver Nuggets top 5 protected pick. I'll give you that. Good point. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Good point.
Yeah. And even in a 3-team trade, Rodney, the only way where there's a team that could possibly, the only way that there's a third team that would be involved willing to give up like draft picks is if it's OKC. That's the only way. The only way OKC is going to do that, and the only way OKC is going to do that is if what? We're gonna need that Zach LaVine, man. We're gonna need that Zach LaVine, man.
We're gonna need Zach LaVine.
Yeah, we're gonna need that Zach LaVine.
Give it up. I think they're probably a veteran away.
Yeah. I think they need. In OKC's case, they don't. To be honest with you, I don't even think they need veteranship. I think they just need another reliable scorer along with Shea. They need another reliable scorer. Even with Chet playing as well as he is for a rookie. You can still tell like they need some perimeter shot creation, specifically a floor spacer, and Zach LaVine checks all those boxes. The question is, what is Chicago asking for Zach LaVine, and how many of them picks are they trying to get from OKC specifically?
They might be trying to get 1 or 2.
Big shot. You said what?
They're trying to at least get about 1 or 2.
I'm telling you, for Zach LaVine. All right, think of it like this. Before I open up this chat, up the score. Big shout out to up the score, by the way. I'm gonna ask you this: if you're asking if Donovan Mitchell was able to get what was it, Zeno? Four picks?
It was four first round.
If it was 4 picks for Donovan Mitchell, and if for Rudy Gobert you get 5, and I don't know what the conversations in their area now is, but I think people still regard Zach LaVine as one of the best shooting guards in the game, right? Still.
Yeah.
No,
it was 3. It was 3 first round draft picks and 2 pick swaps.
So if Donovan Mitchell's getting that, you think Zach LaVine is that far off from that?
Yes.
No. We know his value. I'm saying in NBA circles, you think that they're not valuing Zach LaVine, especially they stare at numbers too. Isn't Zach LaVine like a 36% 3-point shooter, along with like shooting like 40?
Nah, that's a low for Zach. Zach is usually nearing 60. Not 60. Jesus Christ, 40%.
Okay, I was about to say, nigga, 60? What?
No, okay. So for the past like 3 seasons before this season, he's been around a 39% 3-point shooter on 7 attempts, 7.5 attempts.
Yeah. So I'm saying we knowing, like, we watching the basketball and stuff like that, we gonna say no. Zach LaVine's nowhere near as good as Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker. To other people in the NBA circles, I'm telling you right now, they're still dumb enough to think that Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal are still in those conversations. They still think Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell beat those allegations.
You're saying that they'll at least give up 2 first rounders.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to ask that at minimum, we want 2, really 3, because we know OKC got it. We want them to give us that for Zach LaVine. We're going to want them to get that. Big shout out to Up the Score. He says, LaVine, the Golden State Warriors for Klay Thompson and future picks. He is expiring, and you're failing Steph with his second highest points per game player, being 14 points per game. Absolutely. I agree. Adam Hurley says Taurean Prince needs to be cut. I think this is to you and your Lakers. He also said, what does it matter what percentage of a 3-point shooter somebody is? Nobody shoots 50%. It mattered. Well, Zeno, I'll let you answer this.
Why is he giving me this answer? Wow. Anyways, so a 3-point shooter shooting 50% is not really the problem here. When you're a great 3-point shooter, the value that you give to a team is that you create a lot more space for the team. So let's just think of it as this way. When you are able to shoot well, let's say from the corners, that's you space the man that's usually playing in the low block all the way out, so that there's less opportunities for him to come and rotate when either a guard or the person on ball is attacking the rim. That means it's giving that player less resistance to the rim. That's inherently giving them more value because they're taking away a player away from the paint. That's why 3-point shooting is good. That also, when you're also a movement shooter, that's even more better because of the fact that you're not stationary. You actually have to be focused on whether someone has to go over screens, under screens, have to constantly be on their toes to not allow you to get a good quality look for yourself. So that also stretches your team, that the other team out even more, because you're actually constantly on the move hunting for a shot. And that's provided more value. At the end of the day, threes are worth more than twos if you can hit them at a good enough volume, which is around 35, 36%. But good shooters, when we talk about good shooters, they're usually 38, 39% three-point shooters on good enough volume. That means they are pretty much well over the amount that a normal 2-point shot is, which is around 45%, 46%. So at the end of the day, they are valued more than that 2-point shot. That's a little gist of it, to be honest. I should have said better, but yeah.
He says, what I'm saying is everybody shoots about the same average, between 35 and 40. That's about the same.
Yeah, but
it's actually not.
We even if that's the case, but we all can understand that not everyone's 30 points is the same. Not every 20 points is the same. There's differences on how that comes out. For example, Giannis getting a 40-point game is completely different to Embiid getting 40 points because they have two different skill sets and the way that they get to it. A 39% three-point shooter from two players could be completely different because one player could be guarded so closely that even if he gets a bit of daylight, he gets that shot off, and the defense is like clapping their hands like, fuck, why did we let him get that shot off? Or he could be a 39% three-point shooter and the defense is just letting him take those shots. Those are two different ways of defending that player, but they still have the same percentage. That's why.
Yeah. Real quick chat. We got to move on to the next topic. We're gonna get to you guys' chats in a second. Okay. By the way, we got five people viewing. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys for coming in. Zeno will cut on his camera if you guys can get us to 20 likes. All right, guys. So we're gonna.
I don't know why you threw me under the bus here. I just don't have a camera right now. What's going on?
Well, I've already offered to buy you a camera, nigga. Like what?
He just lied like that to you guys. That's crazy.
I haven't offered to buy you a camera. Like God,
El host for just lying to you like that. That's crazy.
I didn't. Okay. All right, nigga. All right. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna get to talking about my Bucks. All right, we're gonna get to talk about my Bucks. Yeah. So the Bucks. So far in his last, don't interrupt me. Don't do that.
Yes, Damian Lillard. Yes,
the Milwaukee Bucks are 7-3 in the last 10 games. They have improved to the 4th best offense in the league. They are 9th in 3-point attempts, 6th in 3-point percentage. That was like surprising to me until I started noticing who is actually hitting their threes. Now, yeah, no, it's definitely not Lillard. It's definitely not Lillard.
Yeah, let's carry on. I'm waiting for you to start talking about Lillard.
It's not Lillard. Well, I just wanted to let you guys know it's not Lillard. It's not Lillard. It's Malik Beasley. It's Jay Crowder. To a certain extent, it's Brook Lopez.
I just looked up. Jay Crowder shooting 51%.
Jay Crowder.
Oh yeah, that's fraud. That's fraudulent. All right.
Cool. Oh no, I don't think it'll hold up. I don't even think Cameron Payne shooting 47% from the 3-point line is going to hold up. Beauchamp is shooting 41% from the 3-point line. I don't think all of these will hold up, but I think even with it balancing out, I don't think Dame is going to shoot 30. No, you tried to get me to say it, nigga. Fuck you. Go ahead. I don't think all of this will hold up, but at the same time, I think in the same breath, I think some of the things are able to be sustained. Like their free throw attempts with the way that Giannis and Dame are getting contact around the rim, I think that is sustainable. I think being 5th in the league, being top 5 in the league in free throw attempts, that is sustainable. I think 2 foul attempts. I think the 3-point attempts I'm not listening to you. I think the 3-point attempts with the way that
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's trolling.
I'm waiting for you to understand the issues.
Bro, god damn.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
With the field goal makes, I think that is sustainable. I don't understand this now. In all seriousness, all right. Before I say what I know you want me to say, Zeno, can you explain to me how they're 21st in field goal attempts, but they're 6th in field goals made?
It just means that they have less opportunities to actually take a shot. But when they get the shot off, they're very efficient. It's literally what it means.
Okay, so does that mean that they turn over the ball? Because they're like 10th in turnovers.
It could be a notion of turnovers, or look at their rebounding. Are they really good at rebounding? That could be the other issue.
They're 6th in defensive rebound, they're 26th in offensive rebounding. I'm guessing because they're 6th in makes.
Yeah, so what you would say what that means is, right, on the offensive end, whenever they create a shot to actually get that shot off, it means that when they have that shot, that's the shot. They don't get another opportunity to take.
Okay. So they're not good at second chance points.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. Now I will get to what you're ready to shit on me about. Before I do that, can I shout out Giannis for improving his game? Not improving his game,
away from this.
Shout out to Giannis for becoming for actually coming back to his regular self. He's far more efficient, having giving you 29.9 points, 10.6 rebounds, 4.6 assists on 63.2 true shooting. Shooting about 60% from the field, 23.3 from the 3-point line, which is terrible, but he's only taking
get on this right now. I'm actually going to be a bit serious for a second. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of the issues with Giannis in the earlier seasons was really not his ability to get to the rim. Yes, it might have not been like Giannis level at the start of the season when it comes to getting to the rim. The issue with Giannis back then was, for some reason, when he played with Dame, he decided he wanted to take mid-ranges and 3-point shots like he's an actual wing player.
Yeah.
And he should know in his own self, he is not his shot form and his ability to create on the perimeter is not as fluid as someone his size like Embiid. He is not at that level, or even KD. He's not at those levels of fluidity that he can actually get into those shot forms with relative ease and actually constantly knock them down. He's not able to do so. So why is he trying to get to those things when he has Damian Lillard, who is supposed to be the fix for that issue and actually should force him to be more of a pick and roll player who just constantly rolls to the rim, or when he has the ball in his hands, attack the rim? Because that literally in the pick and roll, it removes his need to actually stop and pop. Because when he's getting to the rim, Giannis is the best rim finisher in the league. So why is he trying to now add another wrinkle to his game as a mid-range, in a mid-range or a 3-point shot, when you already have that in your team as Damian Lillard? That's not what you need to do. If he was trying to work on his post game, fair enough, understandable. But even that post game is looking suspect. No, it's not suspect. It's just bad. So I don't really understand that. But when it came to now, it seems that he's more willing and focused into attacking the rim and really stressing the defense that way, which is why he's gone back to not old Giannis, but Giannis of at least last season ago, because he's just gone back to his strengths, which is at least he's stopped himself from doing the mid-ranges and 3-point shots as he used to do earlier in the season, and he's focused more on attacking the rim. So I do say that's good.
And to also piggyback on what you said, like I feel like I think what happens with Giannis sometimes is I think it's fair to say Giannis is tapped in when it comes to social media conversations and rumors, and so he's heard the allegations of him not being able to create, and him just being
run and dunk
man and slash merchant and whatnot. And so sometimes, like, you'll notice throughout the season, he'll fall to like this game that he's never been in, like where he's trying to like get into his bag and create. around the mid-range area, or being able to show some level of 3-point shooting, and he'll get so like confident with it, even though like there's no reason for you to do that. And then you'll have the stretch of what he's done these last 10 games of where he realizes, wait, I'm arguably the best player in the world when I'm slashing and I'm putting pressure on defenses. I'm creating opportunities for my teammates, which, by the way, quiet as kept, this is the best perimeter shooting team he's been on in his career. I'm going to take advantage of all of that and take advantage of having a prolific and dynamic scorer / playmaker and Damian Lillard on my side. And that brings me to my next point, which Zeno is going to be very happy to hear. Damian Lillard.
Yes.
Damian Lillard. Shout out to Damian Lillard for at least shooting 60.1% true shooting. He's giving you 25.4 25.
No, don't do true shooting. Don't do
he's
true
giving
shooting. We know why. We know why. That boy be getting to the free throw line. Yo. I want you guys to understand how bad this is. Dame is shooting 42% from the field.
Can't let me finish.
33% from free, and the only thing that is saving his true shooting is that he's getting to the free throw line 13 times a game. No, 30. No, 13 a game, and he's shooting.
It's 9.
No, it isn't. I'm literally looking. Oh no, I'm looking at 100%. I'm looking at 100%. I was getting my hate bag a bit too much.
That nigga was getting his hate bag, bro.
Yo, he's shooting 92% on 9 free throws. Like, that is the only thing that's saving his true shooting. Nah, there's no way. You ain't fooling me. You can fool them with their true shooting. You ain't fooling me.
Look, man. All right, guys. He's shooting 32.8% from the 3-point line. Absolutely abysmal for his standards. The truth be told, it's not good for anybody's standards, but especially for Damian Lillard when he's known to be one of the league's most prolific scorers because of his elite 3-point shooting. It's not his best. It's not his best season by far. But I think you're dwelling on how bad of a scorer he's been versus how dependable of a playmaker he's been. The 6.3 assists isn't just it's not even like as eye-popping as it should be when you take into account the advantages that he's able to create. Think about this in a system where Adrian Griffin, as I was just about to give him credit, but a system where Adrian Griffin isn't running nearly as many Giannis and Dame pick and rolls as he should. CP3 or Damian Lillard is crazy. You're disrespectful.
He's a better 3-point shooter, man.
Like in a system that he's not getting the main thing that's supposed to sell Damian Lillard and Giannis as an offensive duo, which is the pick and roll, because it's supposed to be unstoppable, right? He's still able to give you an efficient 6.3 assists while only turning over the ball 2 times a game. Not to mention, he's also able to create advantages for people like Cameron Payne, who's had minutes playing alongside of him. He's creating advantages for Malik Beasley, who's playing a large chunk of his 27 minutes with Dame and Giannis. Jay Crowder is shooting 51% from the 3-point line from not just Giannis, but the advantages that Dame creates for him. Brook Lopez is shooting 35.7. That's picked up in large part due to Dame getting more comfortable playing alongside Brook Lopez and Giannis. And also, quiet as kept, fucking Marjon Beauchamp, he's shooting 41% because of the advantages that Dame is creating for him as well. So from a shooting standpoint, right, he's not shooting well, but the players that are shooting well from the 3-point line in large part is due to Damian Lillard's creation or the scoring gravity that he still maintains, even with him shooting this poorly.
Yeah, because he's Damian Lillard. As much as I want to hate, he's Damian Lillard. You're not going to just leave him open because he's shooting badly. Yeah. I do want to add on to what you're saying, though. I think one of the few players that their shooting their stroke at the 3-point line is actually quite sustainable is Brook Lopez. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Brook Lopez 3-point shooting is actually getting a bit higher, goes a bit higher, because really throughout his whole career, he's been around 34, 35. He's been 34 to 36% 3-point shooter. Like last season, he ends off with 37. The season before that, 35.8. He's been around that level. And then when you now add on to the fact, as you said, he has Damian Lillard, who's probably a better playmaker than Giannis. And even if, let's say, even if he's not that level, you're having Giannis and Damian Lillard create shots for you. That means he's going to be able to consistently get good quality looks for his 3-point shot. I wouldn't be surprised if Brooks ends up, Lopez ends up with like a 38% true shoot, 38% from 3. Wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Yeah. What you say, OG?
Hey, everything he said, man, you basically taking words out of my mouth this segment. So I gotta agree with that. And you're not gonna leave Damian, even if he's shooting badly. I'm not gonna leave him open for nothing in the world. So yeah.
Now, how do you feel about how many Bucks games have you seen so far? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Say again.
How many Bucks games have you been able to see?
I haven't seen many. Like I said, it's really been, I haven't seen many. It's really been the highlights and reruns, and it's like, wait a minute, and then I go back and watch the tape when I get a chance late in the evening.
Yeah,
but I really can't give you that that spot on.
No. It's cool. It's cool. Because I was gonna ask you a question on top with Zeno about how nasty the Milwaukee Bucks defense has been getting. Because that is one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Even with their offense getting fixed, defensively, it gets nasty. It gets real.
That's
nasty.
the issue. The issue is when you have one of your guard, when your guard in Damian Lillard is dying on every screen, you don't understand how much it makes. How do I say this in the best terms? How hard it makes for the rest of your team to constantly play with that defensive disadvantage constantly. Every play.
They're really missing Drew Holiday.
Exactly. It's not even that. The thing is with you, what you said is kind of true, but it's not even that on Dispute Champ, or can I call you Unc? I like to call you Unc. So, like, it's not even that. It's the fact that he dies on every screen. We're not saying like 50%, 60%, 70%, every screen. Like, no, didn't we sit down and watch a Bucks game, Justin? And we saw him die on literally everyone.
Yeah.
When you're constantly doing that, it's super hard for your team to constantly play with that disadvantage. And you're pretty much banking on Beauchamp to actually help you in that situation, or Giannis or Brook Lopez to help in that situation. And while they are good defenders, and Giannis being one of the best top 10 defenders in the league, and Brook Lopez being one of the best rim protectors in the league, when you're constantly playing with that disadvantage, it's too hard. It's just way too hard to consistently to get stops on the opposite team, especially when you have jump shooters playing against you. Because those jump shooters constantly do be hunted for mismatches, and when you have such a glaring one in Damian Lillard, barbecue chicken, like.
But that on the flip side, I think that's why they beat teams like Dallas, right? Who, like, their main source of production on the offensive end is crazy. Is on a perimeter, right? Like with Kyrie and Luka. Or Tim Hardaway Jr. in some games, right? Like that game, Tim Hardaway Jr. was able to get off. Like, even with those players playing as elite as they do, nobody can stop Dame on the offensive end from getting what he wants, right? Like, if he misses, even with him shooting as bad as he has, to be honest with you, I'm watching him play. He's getting the shots that he usually takes. It's just not going in. Like, he's getting the same level, if not better, screens, because I would like to think Brook Lopez is a better screener than Nurkic, or Giannis is a better screener than Nurkic, right? So I think he's getting better quality screens. It's just, I don't think I feel like when it comes to his shot right now, it seems like he's rushing it as if he got like PTSD or some shit like that. Like, you ever seen a player that when they come from one team? No. Well, I'm trying to explain it. Like, you ever seen a player come from another team, right? And so they get better. They're going to a way better team, and they get higher quality shots, and they're just not used to being that open, or they're not used to being. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not used to being in that position, and so they shoot it as if like it's going to be a high contested shot or something, when ultimately that's probably the most open shot that they've seen like in the last, like, I don't know how many years.
3 years, yeah.
So like in Dame's case, I'm looking at him take these shots. Like, remember that play-in game we was watching with the Knicks versus the Bucks to kick off the play-in? And Jalen Brunson was getting screened off by Bobby Portis, Giannis, Brook Lopez, and Dame is getting quality shots, and he was missing them just because he wasn't expecting to be that open. And so I think that that's ultimately what it comes down to for the Bucks. Like, to be quite honest with you, like, I think the further we go along in the season, you're going to start to see those numbers, those shooting numbers for Dame pick up. Because he's at some point, I feel like he's going to finally understand. No, like, these are the shots. I'm expecting these shots. I'm expecting these shots.
But as far as defensive numbers is concerned, now correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to sound reaching. Has Dame ever been that great of a defender?
No.
Are we ever going to put him up?
No.
So they should. So I mean, like we say down south, you knew there was a snake before it bit you. So, I mean, you should have known that this was going to be a problem with Damian Lillard as far as his defensive woes are concerned. How come you didn't make adjustments? How come you didn't coach? How come you're not coaching adjustments around that?
You see, I would love to like sit there and say that to you, but it's hard to like. How do you coach a true negative on the defensive end? How do you coach around that? Like, do you constantly try and hide him on offense, on defense? And yes, that could be a positive, like a easy way to go for it. But when you play against certain teams are they love to mismatch hunt. Like the Luka team, like Luka's team, Luka's known for mismatch hunting. So there's a lot of superstars or great players that like mismatch hunting because it pretty much guarantees them an easy or quality look. And when you have players like that and they played against the Bucks, like he's such a glaring weakness in your defense that it's like, of course we're going for him, and then he doesn't make it easy for the defense when he's literally as he sees the screen just knocks himself into it, and then he's always behind the play.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
You can't play zone the entire game.
But that's exactly. That's not why I have a problem with Adrian Griffin's like coaching. We'll just keep it on the defensive end. The problem I have with Adrian Griffin is the rotations he's bringing out. Like, he's not giving himself really a good chance to be able to like make up any of the point. Like, Dame doesn't play every single game. I want to say for this season, he's playing about 34 minutes a game, maybe. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah,
he's playing. Dame is playing 34 minutes a game. Yeah, 34 minutes exactly. So my whole thought process is for those 14 minutes that you don't have him on the floor, what lineups are you putting out? You will be surprised to find out, OG, he's not even playing Bobby Portis at the center spot sometimes. He's going micro ball, putting Marjon Beauchamp at the 5 spot. Or I think against, I want to say it was the Celtics for a certain extent of time, he had Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Dame out, and he put Jay Crowder in like the 5 position. I don't know if he put him like specifically at the 5, but he had him guarding their 5 because he sort of was looking at the Celtics like bench at that time and was like, I could get away with this. And that ultimately cost us because we went into that fourth quarter playing catch up. And so, like, when it comes to Adrian Griffin, my main problem with him is his rotation choices. He's having questionable rotation choices on top of not utilizing the Dame Giannis dynamic that we all expected we were going to see. To be quite honest with you, Zeno, and I wanted to throw this out there. Even though they're winning, I still want to throw this out there. I think if we're not reaching a certain win point before All-Star break, I think there's reason why Adrian Griffin could be out the door and we could be searching for a actual experienced head coach.
Let me ask you something, casual, real quick. When did you guys get the coach? Did y'all get him before or after the Houston Rockets got I can't pronounce his name.
Ime Udoka. I think we got him after.
Okay. How come they didn't go after him first?
If I remember correctly, I think the coach that we were actually looking for, we wanted Nick Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They weren't able to get Udoka because Udoka went to the Rockets during the playoffs, if I was correct. So they weren't actually able to get Udoka. And then Nick Nurse was the one that everyone was thinking you was going to get. But then Nick Nurse came to our team, our team. And that's why they weren't able to get Nick Nurse.
Well,
Nick Nurse on that team would be insane.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Just thank God you didn't get Doc Rivers. So.
They should have.
It could always be worse. We could always be like them. We could always play the reverse card with them. We just ask for Doc Rivers. It could be worse. It could be worse. No, you're absolutely right. It could be so worse. Wow. So much worse.
Six is getting hate. So
absolutely. Hey, do you want to talk real quick about your Philadelphia 76ers and how like give a little update on them, like how they're looking, bro?
He's really saying this because we was on like a 4 losing skid, but okay. To be honest with you,
want to talk about it?
For me, right? I can talk about it. At the end of the day, we lose because we are really bad on transition defense. That's mainly due to the fact that Embiid is not really good in transition when it comes to like running the floor. He tends to be slow, and that's usually forcing our defense are not set by the time that the offensive players are already there, so that they usually have like an open lane to the rim, which is one of the biggest issues, and that's what killed us against the Pacers. The Pacers lit us up in transition, lit us up. We have no shot creation outside of Tobias Harris. The person that was also somewhat supplementing us, which was Kelly Oubre. He's injured, so that's another issue. You already know. He already knew that what I said about Tyrese Maxey. Yes, he's been much more confident in his playmaking. I like the fact that he's what's good. I like his 3-point shooting. I like the ability to get to the rim. But at the end of the day, I've been waiting for that jump in shot creation. It's not there yet. So until the day we do get a shot creator, whether that's Zach LaVine or we buoy up our defense, which is the avenue I want to go. I want to go in the defensive avenue because we already have Joel Embiid, who's a top 10 defender. We could go for Alex Caruso, which gives us another you think top 15? I don't care. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to argue with that.
No. I'm not gonna argue it. I haven't really thought about it. Sure.
Alex Caruso, who's like a top 3 guard defender in the league. Then we would have we already have a lot of defense on our team already. And then we would have because I've been hunted for this. And Undisputed Trap, I'll tell you what I want. I want to go after Pascal Siakam. Because if we get that, our defense would be we would actually be able to win through defense. Even if Embiid gets injured offensively, I think we will still be able to carry out and win games through our defensive value on that side. That's what I would think. So that's why I think until Tyrese Maxey or some player on our team can develop into that shot creator, because Embiid being our shot creator that's not a good idea.
I think there's an avenue, low key. I think there's an avenue you could possibly get Pascal and Alex Caruso, because I think.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, Alex Caruso's contract is very friendly. So what, you would move Tyrese Maxey to like the backup, to like the 2 guard spot?
The thing is, I'm not even caring about where he plays from the guard position. I'm thinking more of having that that starting lineup of Tyrese Maxey, Alex Caruso, having
yeah.
Embiid, having Pascal, and then our small forward, whether that's gonna be sometimes we slide in Kelly Oubre, sometimes we slide in Tobias Harris.
No, Tobias Harris will be gone. Tobias Harris has to go.
Oh yeah. Sorry, he would be gone by then. Yeah, so no matter who we have there,
why did y'all opt to keep him over Jimmy Butler anyway? I'm still very confused about that years later.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised
about that years later.
He was our best player in that 2019 second round series. He was our best player.
Further evidence why he was a superstar.
we really living. We really out here lying to the people. That's crazy. Jimmy Butler and superstar is a crazy terminology.
Man, look, man, what we say behind closed doors, man, it don't need to be stated. No need to be brought to the light.
You're the one who brought that out. All right, buddy. All right, bro.
Moving silence.
Real G's moving silence like who?
Lasagna. Like lasagna.
Like lasagna, bro.
Like casual. Anyways.
No, okay, so we're gonna move to we got one more topic to go, guys, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up with a short segment. And I'm going to be aiming this at you, OG. All right.
Zeno. Oh, okay, good.
No, not Zeno. Nobody cares. All right. So we're gonna be talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm gonna ask you this question actually very seriously. Are they pretenders or contenders? Because
as long as Big Ant is playing, I like to call him Big Ant. As long as Big Ant playing well, I call them contenders. Because
Big Ant.
That's that Southern accent, brother. That's that Southern. That's that Southern fried chicken coming off the accent. As long as Big Ant is playing good, we'll call him contenders. The second he goes out and he's not playing well, you got to depend on Cat. Yeah, it's gonna get ugly. But as long as
time out. OG, shout out to Cat, shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns, because as bad as he's been defensively, he's been making it up on the offensive end. This nigga's back to shooting 50, 40, 90 again, man. Shout out to OG, man. Shout out to OG.
Look, as long as
Karl-Anthony Towns, the original #1 overall pick, man. Shooting 50, 40, 90, giving you 22 points per game. He ain't been no slouch. Offensively.
But defensively, I don't want to rely on him as my #1.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And I think that's why he's flourishing.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he's flourishing, because he's a #2 rather than the #1 where he used to be. But as long as Anthony Edwards is in that lineup, I would call them contenders. Rudy Gobert's looking a lot better than he was the past couple of years. And, hey, remember what you said on, I think it was PSP's podcast. Don't be surprised you find Cat gone in about another year.
Yeah. So, no, he's leaving. He leaving. He getting traded.
Because his value's about to go up, especially on that offense, because especially considering how he's playing on the offensive end. But as long as Anthony Edwards is playing as well as he's playing, and he doesn't have any drop off or any slouches or any slumps, hey, I call them contenders. Hey, can they beat the Nuggets? That remains to be seen. But, as we all said before, the Nuggets without Jamal Murray is a completely different team. You got to ask yourself, and I don't think people talk about this enough, you got to start asking yourself, what about Jamal Murray's durability at a certain point? This is like maybe the second season he's been out. Second, maybe third he's been out.
His durability should not be in question. He
missed the finals. Remember why they missed the finals a couple years back? It was due to him being out.
He tore his ACL. He tore his ACL in 2021.
And now he's injured again this year.
Yeah, but this injury is not nearly as serious as an ACL injury.
But you have to ask yourself that question, though, because when you come back, are you going to get hurt again?
He hasn't shown that yet, though. He came back in 2023, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zeno, he played almost every game that season outside of games.
He was relatively well, healthy. Yeah.
He was relatively healthy, but I'm talking about this year. If he gets injured again, It's his
He played
durability.
65 games that season. 65 games is good enough. That was enough. If it was this season, it wouldn't be enough for him to be an all NBA player. So yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, I think I think, and it's just a hamstring injury. Yeah, shout out to Go James. Yeah, it's just a little hammy. Just a little hammy. He just got a little hammy injury. That's all it is. And so,
I don't know how anybody can move after a hamstring injury. If you ask me,
depending on how serious it is. Depending on how serious it is.
If it's a grade 1 or a 3.
Yeah. Depending on how serious it is, I think that wagers on whether you should be concerned. But as far as like looking at his history, he had an ACL injury. He took the proper time it takes for you to heal and come back. He comes back, plays 65 games. If I'm correct, I think those 17 games he missed weren't because of serious injuries. It was actually just simply to give him rest so that he wouldn't overexert himself and get him prepared for the playoffs. And then
they're still trying to do load management without saying load management. My fault. That's my fault. Yeah, they're doing load management without saying it's load management. You got to read between the lines. You in the medical. You told me a little bit about your background before we started this podcast. You know what I'm trying to say.
Cook him on.
I can't confirm nor deny. All I know is, okay. Let me ask you this question: Is load managing a bad thing in Jamal Murray's case where he's coming back from an ACL injury?
No, indeed not. If he's load managing like that, now as long as it doesn't get, never mind. I don't want to say that on here, but as long as
say it, OG. I know what you're
about to say. As long as it does not get to a Kawhi Leonard type of load management situation, it will be okay.
We good. Yeah, we good.
Man,
Kawhi's taking Kawhi. I think last year Kawhi played like 50, 55 games, 56 games.
I don't think, like I said, I mean, I think, hey, he had a good run, but I think people are looking at Kawhi Leonard what he was rather than what he is now. I mean, he's missed some significant time.
He's playing well. He's playing well this year. He's playing well this year.
Huh?
Why? Kawhi's not playing well this year?
He's not playing how he used to play.
Oh, no. Not anywhere. Not near to
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I said people are thinking about what he was rather than what he is now.
Thank you.
Get off, Zeno.
You have to cook him on because he's just chatting right now.
The motive is not to cook anybody. I don't know what.
Zeno.
The motive is to educate.
Yes, educate him.
The motive is to educate. But like I said, people are thinking about Kawhi, what he was back when he won the championships with the Spurs and the Raptors, rather than what he is now. He's down. This is really a down year. And my thing is it safe to say that whole project has been a bust?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. You didn't even make it to the final. You made it to kudos for Clippers standards. It's a W.
No.
You never made okay. If you never made the conference finals, you never made the conference finals.
No. I can't let you. Normally, I will let someone get away with that. But with this one, you were specifically brought there to win championships, to compete in Los Angeles. I mean, you saw the commercial with the whole New Balance commercial. You know, with Kawhi Leonard, he had the little crown on the king ring and all of that.
Yeah, like he's the king of LA.
And not only that, they're bringing in. I think they're holding on for dear life in Los Angeles as far as the Clippers are concerned, because they're building that new stadium in Inglewood. They're revitalizing the old Great Western Forum, which is our stadium anyway. You know, you can't recreate that magic. And they're trying to sell PSLs in that new stadium. To be honest with you, it's time to trade all of those guys, to be honest with you, and sell hope on that new stadium. I mean, it really is that time. It's been some years. It's been some years. You were brought there to win championships. And you got to realize.
I promise you, hope is not going to be selling our tickets.
Hey, I would rather sell hope than to keep trying to retread this team the way they're doing. Right now, Russell Westbrook is averaging 7 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's time. I don't think teams realize this. I think, especially in Los Angeles, I would say, because my team is guilty of this as well. You have to realize when it's time to move off of stuff, when something is not working in this league. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in. I mean, even when, and I hate to use this as an example because people are going to kill me for it. Even Jared Krause and Jared Reinsdorf realized, hey, we finna go into the 2000s. And you see Los Angeles, they coming. The West side, the West Coast, the Western Conference teams are coming. This team is not going to be able to sustain like it is now. It's time to break this thing up.
Yeah.
And that was one of the greatest teams of all time. If they were smart enough to realize that and break up one of the greatest teams of all time, then why can't other teams realize that? Now, granted, they haven't won in it. Now, granted, they've been cows since those guys left. They haven't been the Chicago Bulls since Jordan and company left. They've been cows. But, I mean, you have to realize when it's time to move off of these players. And in Los Angeles, the Clippers, what have you got to lose? You haven't won anything. What do you really have to lose?
I think if I'm the Clippers and they're supposed to be opening up this new stadium next season, I'm gonna sell this Harden, Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi roster, led roster. I'm selling that to the public because I'm selling that to the public over selling hope, at least for next season, because we want to get as many. We want to sell as many tickets as possible. And whether we want to give him credit or not, Kawhi still has that superstar status aroma. Paul George still. No.
You have to admit the status is not gonna. It's time to move off these players.
No. I agree. It's time to move off of them from a team aspect. If you want to contend for a championship, while they still have legitimacy to their name. You want to get off of it while they still have value.
And even if you keep those guys in order to sell those PSLs, in order to sell those luxury suites, you're still not gonna. I don't even think the Clippers can outsell the Rams at this point. They can't outsell the Los Angeles Lakers. They can't outsell the Los Angeles Lakers at this point. The reality of the situation is Steve Ballmer's roots were in Seattle. He should have waited to see how this team was going to fare, and then if this team didn't win out in Los Angeles this year, he should have moved the Clippers to Seattle and became the Supersonics again. That's what should have happened. Remember, his roots are in Seattle. He offered $100 million in order to keep the Supersonics in Seattle.
But you don't think that would you don't think that, like, media wise, that would mess up? That would sort of like ruin the legitimacy of him being the owner, basically saying, hey, let's get you up out of here and move you to, like, basically conceding to the Lakers, even though, like, there should be a case for them being the better team. Like, there should be. It should be.
It should. Hey, like we say down south, what should have happened, what happened, two different things. So, I mean, people got to realize this. They not only had a chance, not only with this team, they had a chance in order to overthrow the Lakers. They had a chance with Lob City as well. You had plenty of opportunities before the Warriors became the Warriors. You beat them, and you had an opportunity in order to get to the final. So you failed as Lob City. You failed the Kawhi Leonard and the Paul George experiment. You're bringing in players and holding on. And what the sad part about this is Jerry West. I mean, as a person who built the Lakers, who built the Warriors, you should be smart enough to realize, as a seasoned general manager and the president of basketball operations, that it's time to move off this player. My thing is succeeding to the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles really a bad thing? Name how many teams have really come in and outdid the Los Angeles Lakers in that town. There's not a team that outsold them, that can outbuild them. I mean, I'm talking about at the height, when the Lakers are great, they're the greatest attraction in the city of Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Even when the Raiders were in there, I'm showing my age, I apologize. Even when the Raiders were in Los Angeles, they could not sell them.
Yeah.
When the Rams on their first 10 year in Los Angeles, they couldn't outsell them. I don't think to this day the Rams are as relevant as the Los Angeles Lakers are. the Los Angeles Chargers, they're the little brothers of the Rams. That speaks for itself. I mean, and people don't even realize this. Hey, the Clippers came from San Diego. They weren't always in Los Angeles. So, like I said, if I would have been Steve Ballmer, I would have waited to see how this Kawhi Paul George experiment would have played out before I bought any stadium. My roots were back in Seattle.
No, you had to move. I don't think even whether the Kawhi Paul George thing worked, you had to get up out of there. You had to get up out of there. If not for anything, you're sharing a stadium with a team that like you've just been like you've basically illustrated for like the last like few minutes is the big brother of this town. So like
you're not going to be able to outsell them in their old stadium, no matter what you do to the Great Western Farm.
No, but I don't think they're trying to. All right, that's where I disagree. I don't think the Clippers are trying to, or I don't think Steve Ballmer is making this move to have them outsell the Lakers. I don't think he's trying to outsell the Lakers. I think he's trying to make our own. We want our own. You know, similar to when you with your brother growing up, right? Y'all sharing everything, shoes, clothes, stuff like that. But you ultimately know that's my big brother stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually, you get to a point where you saying, "I want to get my own." You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get my own stadium. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rebrand this whole team, and we're gonna start fresh in our own world. Like we're gonna make our own world. And I think that needs to be. I feel like if anything, that should be priority over whatever Kawhi or Paul George do. If Kawhi and Paul George and Westbrook and Harden don't work out, which we all agree they did all of this just to lose to the Denver Nuggets, that's fine. Right? That's fine. Mm-hmm. But at the very least, we just gained a head of steam. We're going to sell some tickets and we're going to start this culture off. We're going to start this culture off right. Because I promise you this, next season, we're going to start getting some Clippers trades. So Clippers trades are going to go down. Because they're not
I believe that.
Yeah. This year, they're not going to make those trades. Next year, mid-season, we're going to be hearing about Paul George trade talks. We're going to hear about Kawhi Leonard trade talks. We're going to be hearing about Westbrook trade talks. And Harden probably might not even be re-signed, to be quite honest with you. Harden might not even.
James Hardy's.
Yeah.
James Hardy's.
All right, but not to Zeno. Timberwolves. Pretenders, contenders. Absolutely.
Lost Zeno.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Oh, my fault. My mic is not on. I thought it was on. My fault. I think
that hurt.
Cleve says, did you read this? It says the LA Clippers, they released San Diego. They never asked they can join it, LA. It's like a cousin in your house and all your toys, watching your TV and your refrigerator.
Leave. Shout out to Leave.
Leave been in the chat the whole time. He said, no, hell no.
Fire. But yes, like it's at a certain point, like that defense, even with Cat being your like your help defender, he's been able to essentially show and then recover back to his defender, so not bleeding enough value on that defensive end. He's actually working in that defensive scheme, which is actually allowing them to be that great defensively. And even with Cap not being the greatest defender, when you're surrounding him with Rudy Gobert, with like a top 3 rim protector in Rudy Gobert, or some people would say the best rim protector, you have what's called Jaden McDaniels, who's one of the best wing defenders in the league. You have what's his name? You have Anthony Edwards, who's one of the best guard defenders in the league this season. And then you have Kyle Anderson, who's also a really good help protector. What's called a really good forward. You have so many defensive help on that team. At the end of the day, they're just grinding out wins because of how great they are on the defensive end and how that match, what's called the duo of Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels are just locking down the opposing team's best players and just stopping them from scoring and forcing turnovers. Like with that great amount of defense, and I think they're one of the few defensive teams that I think they can honestly slow down the Denver Nuggets. That's why I actually think if they do come into a 7-game series, I genuinely think they have the ability to beat the Nuggets. I actually would take them over the Nuggets, in my opinion. Now, is it still crazy for that to be said? Yes, but I think later on in the series, later on in the season, and we see the growth in Anthony Edwards' process and form on the offensive end, how he's willing and actually just able to constantly hit the open man consistently again and again, how he's actually his decision making has gotten better from last season to this season, how his mid range has even gotten better, his 3-point shooting has gotten better, his thought process of when he's attacking the rim is more methodical and actually getting to the it feels like he's just become, I don't know how to explain this to you, like it's in such a short time span, he's become great, in my opinion. Like he's become great. And I think that's enough. Like, especially in my opinion, I think at my end of the season, as we can say, yeah, he's at least borderline on that top 10. When that's possible, when you have a top 10 player in the league with this type of defense, I can definitely see them winning a chip then. So yeah, I think.
That's like I said. Well, I didn't say it on here. Anthony Edwards, with the way he's playing right now, top 15 player, top 15 player in this league. It should not be questioned. Not right now. Not with the way he's playing right now. He's a top 15 player right now. And when I'm looking at the Timberwolves, what's really impressing me is, like, I think we were like literally chastising them for how bad of a player, how bad of a defensive piece Karl Anthony Towns was, and we couldn't fathom Rudy Gobert having like a top 15, like manning a top 15 defense with Karl Anthony Towns on the floor with him, being as lost defensively as he was. And lo and behold, not only has he gotten them a top 15 caliber defense, they're number 2 in defensive rating. They're number 2.
Wow.
And more importantly, offensively, right? They're top 15 as well. Like they're 15th, but they're top 15 as well. And the most impressive part about all of this, you name me who you would think would be a above average 3-point shooter for him, and I'd tell you, I'd hit you with nope, not even them.
J-Mac?
Jalen McDaniels is shooting 37.9% 3-point from the 3 on 2.6 attempts.
Yeah, Jalen McDaniels has been decent as a 3-point shooter. Mike Conley?
Mike Conley is shooting 43% on 4.3 attempts.
Exactly. Anthony Edwards?
Mm-hmm. Anthony Edwards shooting 37.5% on 6.9 3-point attempts.
Kyle Anderson?
Oh, Kyle Anderson is shooting 20%. But he's not shooting.
What about Naz Reid?
Naz Reid is shooting 39% on 4.3 attempts.
Who else do I think of?
I was thinking you were gonna say Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yes.
He's shooting 35% from the 3, which is average, right? It's average. Mm-hmm. Shake Milton is shooting 24% from the 3.
But Shake Milton, as a Sixers legend, he's more of a inside threat. Like he's a mid range to the rim. He's not even
doing that though. He's shooting 37% from there too.
Yeah, because Shake is
bad in my opinion.
He's not bad. He's just inconsistent. That's the issue with him. And even this season, he's taking only 5 attempts.
Yeah, but I didn't think Jaden McDaniels was that good of a 3-point shooter. I didn't know. It wasn't until this season that I was watching him. Really, to tell you the truth, it was in the preseason. I was watching him go up against.
He's always shot like decent enough, but it was
it was Dallas. It was Dallas.
He always shot well. He just shot on lower volume. That's the thing with Jalen McDaniels, because he's not really, because when you have a team with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, like, are you really going to be able to take a lot of shots on those teams? No. That's why, like, if Karl Anthony Towns do leave this team, then I think the shot distribution will be, evened out more, and then you'll see more Jaden McDaniels touches. But until then, you won't see much touches from Jaden McDaniels.
I wanted to also speak on that too. When you're playing with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, one of the things that's put Anthony Edwards in the top 15, his development as a playmaker. I said that. No. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
I did. I told them.
Yeah, he said that. I neglected to say that.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
No. Yeah, no. It's on me. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. Shout out to Karl Anthony Towns. Shout out to hold on. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Shout out to the head coach. I forget his name, but shout out to him. The Minnesota Timberwolves head coach.
Imagine that's my co-host and he doesn't know his name. Shaking my head.
Do you know it?
Yes, I do. Chris Finch. I do know.
Then why didn't you say it?
Because I like seeing you struggle, question mark.
You guys.
Okay. Look, you're
RoboCop versus Terminator.
Around this time, we get really bored and we like being toxic. So OG, guess what? You're on the big screen. You're on the big screen right now.
No way you did this.
Okay? You're on the big screen right now.
Yeah.
This is
you're doing encore.
our YouTube short segment. Who is better? Kobe Bryant edition. Okay.
Wow.
You're doing encore. You're doing
all right.
encore.
I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. I want you to get your mind right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to get your mind right because these players. I'm going to ask you, is he offensively better? Not better overall, offensively. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Kevin Durant.
Kobe.
LeBron James.
Now you're not playing fair. Now you're not playing fair. I don't appreciate stuff like this. LeBron.
Okay. Shaquille O'Neal.
Are you really? Oh man. I'll pass on that. Let's come back to that.
No. All right, fine. Well, I got another one for you then. Now, since you done passed that one up, okay?
Yeah.
Stephen Curry.
You're doing on Krong, man. You're doing on Krong.
Kobe.
You see,
Kobe? Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking Kobe.
All right. Nikola Jokic. Okay. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem.
All right. You sold me on that Shaquille O'Neal one, but it's okay. Sorry. It's all right.
I'm just gonna be real, man. I saw those two play together, man, and I got used to seeing those two guys playing together. So it's kind of hard to say who was the better offensive player because hell, you couldn't stop any of them. I mean, it was so bad at one point. We had an offense that we used to run. Like I said, it goes back to my father. We had an offense that we ran the NBA Live. We're not double teaming those two guys. We're double teaming everybody else. They're gonna get theirs, because you're not gonna be able to stop them. I mean, you just couldn't. At their peak together, they wasn't able to stop them. So I really couldn't pick between those. I saw those guys play together. So it was and my answers come a little bit from bias as well.
I know. I did my research.
It comes from a little bit of bias as well because I'm a Laker fan and I got to see Kobe. But I'll say Jokic because hey, offensive side of the ball, playmaking ability, and playmaking ability along with,
I would ask you why Curry? Why not Curry over Kobe then?
I'm being biasness.
I know.
It's biasness because
we don't have enough time for me to. We don't have enough time for me and
honestly, I'll go through each of those with you. To be honest with you, some of that is biasness. Mm-hmm. I will say. Especially with Curry. And plus, you're not going to be able to win those arguments if you say either one anyway. Somebody's going to say, how can you say him over how can you say Curry over Kobe? Some people are going to say, how can you pick Kobe over Curry? So you're not going to. Some of these arguments you gave me, I was not going to win anyway. So.
Oh yeah, but the reason.
Oh yeah, okay.
Wait, what?
He said, "Oh yeah," like he knew he was about to play the other side. He's so bad.
No, so the thing is, I chose those specific players because I wanted to challenge you to, like, you know, don't go with the obvious, right? If I would have went with the Kobe's, the MJ's, right? Like those, not the Kobe's, the MJ's, the Hakeem's, those type of players, like it's relatively easy for you to be able to like come with those answers. I want to give you players that you probably haven't heard a lot of like comparisons offensively too. And I wanted to see your thoughts on that, right? But guys, we have just hit the 2-hour mark. I want to give a huge shout out to Chad. Chad, you was busy. You was busy as shit today. Y'all been working us. Shout out. We're gonna start down the road. We want to give a big shout out to True the King. We want to give a big shout out to. We want to give a big shout out to Sports PSP. We want to give a big shout out to Leaf. We want to give a big shout out to Up the Score, Adam Hurley, Go James, Sage, Ice the Demon King. That's Rodney. Shout out to Mood. Am I missing anybody?
Shout out to Brandon from the block. You got to shout out Brandon from the block.
Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon from the block. Shout out to Midtown Breezy. Is that him? It might be him. But yeah, shout out to all of you guys, and more importantly, shout out to anybody that watched this video, anybody that liked this video, anybody that subscribed throughout this video. Make sure you do so on your way out. Zeno, you got any last words before we head about?
Honestly, I don't know why he hasn't said this. Thank you for letting us hit our highest viewers watching, which was 13.
Well,
thank you very much, guys.
I knew you was going to say
it. 13. Let's go. Anyways, let me pass it off back to Justin.
OG, you got can you please let the viewers know where to look you up?
All right, this will only take 30 seconds. Undisputed World Champ on TikTok and World Champ 2.0 _2.0 on Instagram. I do everybody's podcast. Anybody need me to do a podcast? Long as you get me on a good day, I got you. Just don't ask me to do one in the morning time, because just don't ask me to do one in the morning.
It get nasty.
Yeah. What we're covering now on my page is basically college football is coming to a close, so we're shifting a little bit more to the NFL, and we're shifting a little bit more to the NBA as well. Hey, a lot of guys, especially when down south is your audience, hey, they don't like to hear about the NBA when football season is going on. Hey, and that's just a fact. But we will be shifting that. Also, GOAT series, greatest of all time series, will be coming soon. I will be finishing up the NFL series soon, and then we're going to move to the NBA, who is the greatest of all time at each and every position, top 5 at each and every position. So those are the series.
Please hit us up. Me and Zeno definitely want to tap in with y'all on that one.
Yeah, I will be doing that series soon. YouTube shows will be coming soon. I think that got pushed back to January. So we're going to be doing that in January. I got a mystery guy I'm going to bring out. He's just as good, as not better than I am. I've known this guy for some years, so he is good. Shout out to C. Reed. You know who I'm talking about.
C. Reed. Got you. Once again, shout out to Chad. Shout out to JJ. Man, I wish JJ
does he not mean Paul Reed? Does he mean this guy here? This guy, Paul Reed? No.
Like I said, shout out to C. Reed, Columbus, Georgia, E-Dub. Y'all know what it is.
All right.
That wasn't even a funny joke. You know. Shout out to that man.
A lot of guys don't even know where Columbus, Georgia is.
Shout out to that man 32 messing with that 13, man.
Wow. Okay. On that note, I'll do the job. Thank you all for coming through. I like the fact that you guys had come through and came watch us. Undisputed Champ dropped some knowledge, trying to teach the people. I'm thankful for everyone who came and watched the show. Have a good evening, guys, and take care. Peace.
Shout out to that 3 messing with that 15.